Many of you must be knowing Harikeshwar Kushwaha sir. He's the same person who introduced mantra meditation session. But many of you may not be knowing. Some of you might be knowing. So just in 2 minutes, I will briefly introduce him. So Harikeshwar sir, he is IIT Kanpur BTech from Electrical Engineering Department, and he joined in 1999. Many of you were not born also at that time, and he is the first student of our Lakshmidhar Bhaira sir. He's the one who helped Dr. Lakshmidhar Bhaira to continue this Bhaktivedanta Club and to do all the management. And then later he joined Goldman Sachs and he served there for more than 9 years. Then afterwards, to dedicate his life completely for the higher cause, he joined Bhaktivedanta Gurukul, an international school, and he joined as a principal there, and more than 5 years he served there. And currently, he's running Prayak Eternal Award of Culture and Education, ISKCON Peace Center. And today we have come up with very interesting topic that is very much relevant to all of you. And name of the topic is goal of education. So this is very relevant because many of us think that the goal of education is only to earn livelihood, to only earn money. But is it only that much, or there is something more beyond that? So today's session that will be discussed. And beforehand, and just one small announcement. In this session, all of you please be attentive. At the end of session, there will be small Kahoot game, and winners will get exciting prize. So please be attentive. You can take notes of all the important points, so that will help you to score better. So be attentive. So without taking much time, I am handing over to Kushwaha sir. So please take.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay. So I am very glad to be again with all of you, the wonderful group of devotees. Last time, I think it has been a month or so when I was given the opportunity to speak to you on the importance of chanting. And I think after that you had your exams, and again the sessions have started. So it's my honor, and I'm very, very happy to be with all of you, even though it's virtual meeting. Nevertheless, we are together. So the topic for today is the goal of education or real education. All of us have been going through some form of education at different phases of our life. From the day we are born, or even before we are born, when we are in the womb of our mothers, then also we learn some things. And then when we are born, from the day one, we start learning. There are formal ways of education and there are informal ways of education. We go through schooling, then colleges and universities and so on. And in this way, even after we complete our formal education, in the course of life, we continue learning. Wherever we are, we meet people, we interact with the society, we read various subjects, and in that way we keep getting some information and we keep learning. So the question comes, what is the goal of all this learning that we are having in our life? What do we want to achieve by this? Hardly anybody thinks. They just follow the flow. That you go through a schooling, then the goal is just to get into a college, like most of you in the first year. You have strived very hard to get in IIT. And then once you are there, when you complete your 4 years, either with struggles or smoothly. And then the whole energy goes in how to secure a job. And then once you get a job, then you continue learning there on job and then keep moving forward. And one day everything is finished. That happens. So what is the goal of all this learning? That is a very important question to ask. So if we look at our current education system, then we can easily see that most of it, if not all, is centered around how to earn a livelihood. Everything, all these different departments of knowledge, they may have these departments of knowledge, they may have started with a goal in trying to understand nature or with some other inquiries, but later all of this has turned into just making some livelihood, both for the students as well as for the teachers. The teachers or professors, they are teaching mostly to make their livelihood, and students are also learning to make their livelihood. And that is all this has got reduced to. So we are going to explore, is there any better goal in life or not? Is there any other higher purpose or not? So before I start, the prerequisite for this class on Real Education 101 is that you should have an understanding of the difference between the body and the soul. And that we are not this body. We are living beings living in this body, and we exist even if the body is finished. Even after the body is finished, we will continue to exist. I think you have had your classes on this. So at least theoretically, you must understand this, because that's the premise, the foundational ideas on which we are going to build. If that understanding is not clear to any of you and this group, then after the class, I suggest you should go back and revise that or look at that again. So having understood that we are not this body, we are an eternal living entity, a soul. We were existing even before our birth, and we will continue to exist even after our death. This is the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita. Very, very important lesson. And once we understand this, this opens a whole plethora of questions. So many questions should come up with this understanding. Like where were we in the past before our birth? What will happen to us after our death? I don't want sufferings, but why it comes to us? Where is our destination? The whole creation that we see around, is there any intelligence behind it? Is there any creator behind it? What is my relationship with that creator? What is my relationship with the nature? All these n number of questions that opens up with this understanding when we understand that we are not this body. And it's very important to make an effort to find the answers to these questions. We can't just leave it at that point that, oh, I understand I'm not this body, and then continue with our life like that. Once we understand, then we have to look into these questions also. So the goal of education, that as we briefly discussed, that the goal of modern education is just to prepare people or students so that they can make their livelihood in some form or the other. But the goal of real education that we learn from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and I suppose you have been introduced to the book Bhagavad Gita. We will talk about that a little later also. Bhagavad Gita defines what a learned person is, what an educated person is. So we start from here. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. Which means that a person who is actually educated and learned, he develops this vision, the divine vision, Samadarshina, the vision of equality towards 5 things they are mentioned. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane, towards a person who is well educated and also equipped with humility and good character. That's one. Then Gavi, the cow, Hastini, the elephant, Shuni, the dog, and Swapake, the dog eaters, the chandal. So these 5 different categories of living entities are mentioned. And this person who is well educated can see the equality among all of them, because he can see the presence of the soul and presence of the super soul, presence of God in all of them. So this is the state of consciousness an educated person is supposed to have. Of course, the modern education has no mention of any of these things. And that is why we must side by side pursue both. While we are pursuing the education for livelihood, at the same time, it's very important to pursue the education for life. And when we do that, then we develop this character, where we will develop this vision to see, to make no distinction between all these different living beings that are mentioned. One will be able to see the presence of God in all of them. One will be able to see the soul, which is living within the body. He will be able to penetrate through the body and see the soul, the existence of the soul, existence of life. So this is one understanding of an educated person that is given in Bhagavad Gita. Now you see, this real education that we are going to talk about today is not about just acquiring some degrees. It's not about just learning some skills, becoming expert in n number of computer skills and mechanical skills and whatnot. It's not just about going to this college or that college and this university or that university. The whole system of education that we have is just bread and butter education system. It just gives us a lot of information. We put it in our brain, and we then pour that out on paper in the examination and get a degree, and then get a job. Real education is way beyond this. It's the education of the soul. So we simply put it, education for the livelihood, which is the modern education, is the education of the body. And the the real education is the education of the soul. So when we understood that we are not this body or the soul, then we have to also understand the education system for both of them. For the body, we have plenty in the world. For the soul, we hardly have anything. And this platform is one of them, where we can learn about the education of the soul. Life versus livelihood, that is a very important thing. Jivan or Jivika, ये दो अलग-अलग चीजें हैं. These are two different things. And somehow, most of the people, they think they are synonymous. It's like sometimes we hear this saying, ना, आप जीने के लिए खा रहे हो या खाने के लिए जी रहे हो. तो वैसे ही, similarly, we can ask the question: Are we earning to live, or we are living to earn? And most of the people, they live only to make money. The whole life they live just to earn. Rather, it should be the other way around. The livelihood should be a support for life, rather than whole life goes in just for the purpose of livelihood. There needs to be, there is a purpose of life. And in order to fulfill that purpose, we need to support this body. And in order to support this body and the body of a few others, we need to have some livelihood. Then it all makes sense. Otherwise, it's meaningless. It's meaningless. Then there is no purpose of life. We are just learning, living to make livelihood. For example, you all have come to IIT Kanpur to do your graduation studies. Now, in order to study, that is your primary objective why you came to IIT Kanpur, to complete your course and get your degree and learn the technical knowledge that you need to. And that is the primary objective. Now, in order to fulfill that objective, you also need to have a place to live. So you look for an accommodation in your hostels, whatever, hall 1, hall 2, hall 3, wherever. At the same time, you also need to have some arrangement for your, to take care of your body. You need to have some arrangement for food. You also need to have some arrangement for medical needs, because sometimes you may fall sick. You may also need some arrangement to keep yourself fit. So gym is there and some playground is there. Some sorts of relaxing and entertainment also probably needed. And some technical support also required, your mobile phones, internet, and a few other things. So all these things are needed so that you can study. That is a primary objective. And in order to fulfill that, you need to do all these other things. Now, if you're a student, which some of them actually do, they forget the real purpose. And they spend the whole 4 years just taking care of where to eat nicely, whether this food is good, that food is good, this hostel is good, this room is good. And the whole time is that, and study is become secondary. Then the whole purpose of coming to IIT Kanpur is lost. Similarly, in our life, there is a purpose. And that purpose is that the questions that we discussed earlier, educating the soul, that is the real purpose. Soul needs education, it needs training. And that is the real purpose. But in order to do that, we also need to take care of the body. And that is why the whole thing of livelihood comes into picture. But we should always understand that taking care of the soul is the primary objective, and taking care of the body is a secondary objective, and that is meant to support the primary objective. And when this is very clear to us, then we live a meaningful and purposeful life. But if we forget the primary goal of taking care of the soul, then we are all the time busy just in making livelihood, and the whole life is gone. Now you see all this now a great imbalance gets created if there is no training for the soul and there is only training for the body. So this technical knowledge actually has created a lot of imbalance in the society, because it has given the technical expertise in the hands of people who are ill motivated. For example, suppose there is a gun, and we give the gun in the hands of a little child or a monkey. What the child is going to do is going to think it's a toy and is going to play. We'll press the button. A monkey, what will it do? They will experiment. Button. And will end up creating havoc. Similarly, we see in the society, so much technology is there, and at the same time, the same technology has gone into the hands of people who are terrorists or creating disturbance in the society. All the time we hear so much of nonsense going on, because there is no training for character. There is no training for the soul. So there is an imbalance. So a lot of expertise and knowledge has been given, but people don't know how to use it. And this is the big problem in the society. And the only way to address it is in parallel, because technological advancement is already there. At the same time, we have to uplift the people's consciousness, their character, so that they know how to use the technology properly. Nowadays, even you see the mobile phones and internet, this has become such an addiction that instead of using the mobiles and internet as a tool in our hand, people have become tools in the hands of internet. and mobile phones. Like if we end up in a situation where we cannot live without phones, then basically we become slaves of the mobile phones and internet. Rather, they should be used as an instrument at our discretion. When we need, we use them. When we don't need, we don't use them. But that requires character. To be able to control one's senses, to be able to use the discriminatory power, when to use, when not to use, all that is needed. So in this way, I will tell you a story of a parrot and a cage. So there was once a very rich lady, and she purchased, somehow acquired a parrot. And she was rich, so she put the parrot in a golden cage. And every day she used to clean the cage, polish it, whatever, and keep it very nice. But she wasn't feeding the parrot. And naturally, as everybody can guess, what happened. After a few days, the parrot died. Now, our education system is similar. And that's what we are all doing. There is a soul within the body, and this body is like that cage. And we are spending all the time and energy in taking care of the body, and the soul is starving because there is no feeding for the soul. The food for the soul is different, and food for the body is different. Soul is not being fed. Soul is hungry. And that is why people are unhappy. So this whole technological advancement, what has it done? It has created enough of comfort for the body, and people have become so much caught up in that, they have forgotten to take care of the soul. Real education means it's actually, the word education comes from a Greek word, which means edukos, E-D-U-K-O-S, something, edukos, which means to draw forth from within. Education was to bring out the character from within. But it has, nowadays the word is used completely opposite, to put all the information from outside in the brain, and that is what is called education. Education has nothing to do with, it's not our education is not meant to just make our brain a memory house where we store all kinds of information and we can blur it out whenever needed. Rather, the real education means the development of character. In our Vedic tradition, the education was always meant for that. In fact, the character development was an inseparable part of education. They were not two separate things, that there is an education system and there is for character development, there is something else. The single education system was catering for both, while giving all the knowledge and knowledge of the soul, as well as the knowledge for livelihood. That is also part of our Vedic education system. Both are there. But modern education system just has knowledge for livelihood. There is no knowledge of the life or soul. So character development was an inseparable part of our education system. And I will tell you a couple of stories to emphasize the need for it. You see how the students were tested in our olden days. Most of you may have heard of the great teacher Dronacharya, who was the guru of Pandavas as well as Kauravas. So once he wanted to test his students, he asked Yudhishthir Maharaj and Duryodhan, Yudhishthir and Duryodhan both, and he gave them two questions, and you go and find the answers to this and come back. The question given to Yudhishthir was, go in the country and find a person who is lower than you, who is or the worst person in the society. whose character is lowest. And Duryodhana was given the task of go and find a person who is better than you. Basically, Duryodhana has to find someone who is better than him, and Yudhishthira has to find someone who is less than him. So both went searching, and after some time, Duryodhana came back. And he comes back and he says that, I searched everywhere, but I couldn't find anybody better than me. Fine. So he was asked to wait. And then Yudhishthira returned after a long time. And then he also came empty-handed. Then Dronacharya asked, you came so late and you didn't bring anybody who is less than you, who is less than you. He said, I searched in the whole of kingdom and I couldn't find anybody. Everybody was following the principles of dharma and was perfect in character. Only one place I found someone who was pulling water from a well, and that was Ekadashi day, the day of fasting, and that in those days, these days were observed with a lot of strictness, and nobody used to drink even water on that day. So he thought that, oh, there is a person who is violating the principles of dharma, so maybe I can get him. So he went to that person and asked him, and it so turned out that he was actually pulling water from the well for his cows, not for himself. Oh, then Yudhishthira Maharaj started thinking that, oh, I thought so bad about that person, which is actually not the case. It means I am at fault. I should not have thought about it. So I am actually the lowest person, lowest in character, and everybody is better than me. So he also returned and he explained that, no, I didn't come empty-handed. I have brought the person with me who is lower in character. So that is me. And Dronacharya was very pleased to hear that, because he could see this exemplifies the high, very high level of character that the Yudhishthira Maharaj demonstrated. So, and that is what pleased his teacher, Dronacharya. This is how they used to test, not how many arrows one can shoot and how good one is in all these other politics and all that. That is fine. They may learn all kinds of skills and knowledge and everything, but ultimately what mattered was character. There is another story where in a Gurukul, in an ashram, there was a guru and there were many disciples. And one day he wanted to test all of them. So he told them that I am giving you an apple. He gave to each one of them. I said that you go, apple or some other fruit, whatever. He told them that you go and find a place where nobody is watching you and you eat there. So you have to go and eat the apple, but you have to eat it in a place where nobody is watching you. And you have to come back and tell me, where did you eat the apple? So all of them went, and then someone went behind a tree or in the cave or hid behind a room or somewhere. They found some place to eat. And they came back and they were telling, oh, I went to that side there, behind that, left, right, and then there was nobody watching. I looked around and then I ate it there. And that way everybody came back. One student did not return. And it became very late. He gave in the morning. It's the evening time. He hasn't come back. And Guru and all others were waiting. By very late in the evening, he returned. And apple was still in his hand. So the Guru asked him, why you came so late and you have not even finished eating that apple? What went wrong with you? He said that I have been searching for a place everywhere, but I couldn't find a place where nobody was watching me. He said, in whole of this big jungle, you couldn't find a place. It's such a big place. He said that wherever I went, the sun was watching me. The birds were there. The insects were there. The trees were there. The four directions are there. And finally, God is seated in our heart as super soul. He is watching me no matter wherever I go. So how could I eat it? I couldn't follow your instruction. And Guru was very pleased with him, because that is what he wanted to check, how many, which student has actually understood that the presence of God everywhere and can perceive it. And he blessed him. So this is how they used to test. That was the testing procedure. There are other stories like this. Sometimes they used to put like on the way where the students would usually walk. If they want to test a particular student, they would drop something there, some money or some gold or something, which may be very attractive, and without the knowledge of the student, and they will see when he comes, what does he do. Some student may find it, oh, it's nice, put it in his pocket. Some may ignore it. Some may pick it and come to Guru and say that, okay, I found it there. I don't know whom it belongs. Please take care. Please pass it to whoever. So this is how they will check and test the character of a person. And that was the real purpose of education. So nowadays, this is such an irony that there is so much pressure from the society as well as parents to and students are so hard pressed to earn their livelihood that the whole real education takes a back seat, and no one is encouraged for that. There is so much pressure. Just get your grades, 10 pointers, 9 pointers, whatever, your CPI, SPI, and all that. Score well, and then finally get a job. There's so much pressure, and students succumb to that due to lack of the proper understanding of life. While that is important, I don't mean to say that is not important, but when it is done at the cost of sacrificing the real education, then it doesn't do any good in the long run, especially for the soul. Now it is our responsibility to make efforts to acquire the true knowledge, the real knowledge. Ignorance is no excuse. The laws of God are there. The whole creation is there. There is whole system of education, the whole law of karma and everything is there. If we are ignorant of that and we violate those rules, then the laws will still work. We can't say we don't know the law. Suppose I break a law and then I am caught and I am pulled into the court and I go there and then I say, oh, I didn't know it. Am I going to be excused by the court for not knowing? Court will say, well, it's good that you didn't know and now you will follow it. But since you have already committed a crime, so you have to be punished for that. So in a society, suppose I am living in India and I am driving and I cross a red light and then there is a penalty, I am caught. And then I say, oh, I didn't notice or I didn't know that this red light I shouldn't cross. Am I going to be excused? No. The law will work. I will have to be penalized. Similarly, the laws of God will work, irrespective of whether we know it or not. So just like in a society, it is the responsibility of every driver to familiarize oneself with the laws of traffic. It is the responsibility of every citizen to familiarize with the laws of Constitution in whatever areas one is dealing with. Similarly, it is the responsibility of every soul, every person to familiarize with the laws of God as given in Bhagavad Gita, so that we can properly live as per the instructions of the Lord and not violate those laws. Otherwise, the consequences will be there. So we see that I think these things have already been discussed earlier, so I'm not going to dwell much into the whole understanding of the existence of God. But just to recap, when we see the whole beautiful creation around, there's a perfect design, the perfect laws, that naturally should inspire us to think that there exists a creator, there exists an intelligent brain behind all of this. All these things cannot come into picture on its own. In fact, a genuine scientist should become a firm believer in God, having analyzed all these things. But somehow that kind of motivation is not there in our education system to inspire us to think in that direction. We look at everything from a very small cell level of a cell. Even a cell is way more complex with all this nucleus, mitochondria, vacuoles, and all that you see, is way more complex than any supercomputer or robot or satellite, whatever we may have. The complexity is a lot more in simply a cell. This is how things have been designed. So when we look at that, we should appreciate that who has designed such a complex cell, which has, there are all kinds of functions are there. So intelligently, everything has been designed in a cell. Nobody can create a cell. Nobody can create a seed. Nobody can create any of these things where there is life. So seeing all this, as scientists, or especially all of you, because all of you have been studying science, if we genuinely study with a view to understand the nature, then that should inspire us to think of the creator of this nature. But unfortunately, we don't think beyond formulas. Just a set of formulas we learn and memorize and then solve some problems, and that's all we think is our education system. So in due course, our sense of inquiry has been lost. The philosophical touch has been lost. Instead of becoming the seekers of truth, we have become seekers of bodily comfort. The real education, this is a very important thing to note. The real education is meant to make us or inspire us to become the seekers of truth. On the other hand, the modern education system is only inspiring us to become seekers of bodily comforts or physical comforts. So all this technological advancement is just meant to give some comfort to the body, that's all. And that's all we are doing. So real education is always about seekers of truth. What is reality? Who is God? This question must be asked. So education actually has descended to such low level. We claim and we hear, oh, so advanced we are. We have so many branches of knowledge, so many departments of knowledge, so many universities, colleges, innumerable books on different topics. So much knowledge is there. But if we look at the essence of all of this, the essence of all this knowledge is just to give some comfort to the body. That's all. So in this way, but that is not the real education is. Our Vedic education system, the whole traditional education system that we have, coming from the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, this is all meant to inspire us to become seekers of truth. In our Vedic scriptures, this is the first thing that comes, that Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Having acquired this human form of life, one must inquire into these questions of who we are, who is God, what is our relationship with Him, why have we come here, what's going to happen after death. If we die without asking these questions, then we are no better than animals. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Jivasya tattva jigyasa na artho yasyeha karmadi. There is no other purpose of life other than to inquire into these questions. So, and no matter where we come from, what religion, what caste, what background, which country, whether rich or poor or whatever, we must learn to ask these questions. So this is such a vast subject actually, and in this such a short class, I can only try or attempt to inspire you to understand the need of real education and make a sincere and genuine effort to try to find the answers to these questions. And very important and valuable source for this is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is the manual of life. Just like a manufacturer, when he creates any product, along with the product, there is always a manual. You purchase a mobile phone or a laptop or iPad, whatever, small, any other equipment, there is always a manual that comes along with it. And that describes how the equipment should be used. What are the do's and what are the don'ts, all the safety precautions, everything is mentioned on that. If you do this, this may damage the product. This is the safe way to use this product. Similarly, when God created this world, he has given a manual how to operate this world, how to live in this world. And that manual is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It's a book with 700 slokas, 18 chapters, but contains so much knowledge. So much knowledge. It's a whole way of life, how to live. This is not some sectarian book. This describes the laws of nature. It's not an Indian law or this law. It's like Newton discovered the laws of gravity living in some country, and doesn't mean that this law of gravity is a foreign law. It's a law of nature which will work on anybody, whether Indian or American or whatever. Similarly, the laws of nature, the laws of this creation, they will work on anybody, irrespective of Indian, American, whatever. So those laws are described, they are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And it is our duty, we should take the responsibility to familiarize ourselves with these laws. That is real education. Whatever spiritual knowledge we acquire and progress we make and uplift our consciousness, this is something that is an asset that will never be lost. It's a very important thing to understand. All the other knowledge that we acquire in our BTech or other courses that we have, in the course of time, that gets lost. And worst case, at the end of our life, in the next life when we are born, this knowledge is not going to come to our rescue. We will have to again go through the same college and same studies, ABC and everything, and again probably clear JEE if it's still there, and those after 100 years. And then again get into IIT, again study. This knowledge will not help. But the spiritual knowledge, because that is related to the upliftment of our consciousness. So the nature of consciousness is that once it goes to a certain level, it stays there. It is never lost. Sometimes it may get covered, but it will not be lost. But the material knowledge, any physical knowledge or bodily knowledge that we get, that gets lost with the loss of body. So this is a very big difference between the real knowledge and the knowledge of the world that we have here in this. So spiritual knowledge is very divine, very purifying, and it helps us live a very, very meaningful life. It gives us a vision to see the world in a very different way, very meaningful way, in a very deep way. And that we can't see that through the material knowledge. It gives us a vision to see the subtle aspects of nature. Our material science only captures very gross aspects, everything that is external, and cannot give us an understanding of the inner nature of things. That is not in the scope of material knowledge. The understanding the subtlety of the world, very finer things, that comes with the spiritual knowledge. No amount of material progress or technological advancement or medical advancement can save us from the dangers of life. And I think the current times, we can't find a better time to understand this. All of us have gone through this whole year of corona epidemic, and we can see, in spite of so much of medical advancement and technical advancement, the whole world was brought to a halt. Everything stopped. Nobody could have ever imagined this will happen, but this happened. All the big scientists, big technical, medical people were struggling. And they are still struggling. One simple thing came and the whole thing came to a halt. So from this, very easily we can understand that the nature actually is way more powerful than the sum total of all the technological advancement that we have made, and also in the future, the human society will make. No matter how much we advance medically or technically or whatever way, we will never be able to conquer nature. Nature is always powerful. Nature is an energy of God, and God is supremely powerful. We can temporarily, this is the great misconception among people, that they think that they can exploit nature, pollute nature, and get away with it. See, the whole modern technical advancement, on one hand, definitely, no doubt, it has given so much comforts. It has given so many benefits to the human society, agreed. But at the same time, there are so many side effects to it. The whole world, there is so much pollution that wasn't there. The human society has been existing for thousands of years, and the world was not so polluted. The rivers were clean, the areas were clean. Now, anywhere you go, you see all the garbage with plastics and everything. Rivers are so polluted. This is all the technical advancement. So, because there is no development of character, there is no development of the understanding of who is God, who I am, what is the goal of life. So people have a whole tendency to just exploit the nature in whatever way possible, without any control, without any sense, without any compassion in the heart. Not only just pollute nature, and this, they also exploit nature. The trees are cut in unrestricted way. There are mines, the whole digging the earth and everything happening in uncontrolled way. Nobody thinks what will happen, the consequences of it. Because the greed for money and greed for sense enjoyment is so strong that people are completely caught up in that. So it's very right time to understand that unless we learn how to live in harmony with nature, nature will react. Nature takes its own course and it gives a heavy reaction. And this has happened in the past many times. It's happened just recently, and it will continue to happen. So as an intelligent person, all of you are very intelligent. You have been gifted by God with good intelligence. So I request all of you to please take this message and make a sincere effort to understand the message of God from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. You have many senior devotees, senior students there who have been studying, and they are ready to help you. Ask questions. You may have questions, feel free, ask questions, clear your doubts, and take up this process of real education, which is education for life, rather than just being satisfied with the education for livelihood. So I think I should stop here now and leave the things for questions, and I think there is a quiz, so whatever. So thank you very much for your patient hearing, and I'm very glad to be with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harikesh Prabhu, for being with us. Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Madhav Prabhu.
Your, how do I express this? Your speech or talk are always eye-opener for us. And because you did not, like other speaker, I do not want to really compare, but like other speaker, you did not completely discarded the material nature or the modern education, but you perfectly weighted both of them, giving the examples and showing that how this side, real education side, is important in a long run, while this materialistic thing should should become the support system for uplifting this. So that was really a good eye-opening thing for me, because I always used to get confused that why not pursue this, what is wrong in pursuing the materialistic thing. But I think a lot of people may also have confusion like this, so it is really such an eye-opener speech. And also you are such an eloquent speaker that you give all the examples, like one example that when we see the perfect creation, then we should remember about a creator also. Because when I make some small robot that can work, people appreciate me so much, but there is huge grand design and we are not able to appreciate a creator of that. So it really tells what is the real purpose of this life. So thank you for being and enlightening us, Harikesh Prabhu. I really feel good, and I hope so. All of the 50 people are here and they feel good.
So now we open the floor for some discussions and questions. Meanwhile, we'll and don't leave during the question answer session, because our volunteers have prepared a very special quiz today. In the meanwhile, the lecture was going on based on today's discussion, so you will enjoy the quiz, Kahoot quiz, a lot. So yes, you can ask questions from sir now.
Hello, Abhishek. Hare Krishna, Abhishek. Can I start? I have a question.
Yes. Can you also introduce yourself before asking the question, since
Hare Krishna. My name is Rajan, and I have joined recently. I'm new to this club. So I have a question. Like you asked us to follow the a holistic approach to living. Like we should follow the laws. But what if, in the case, like we are not able to follow all the laws? Like you gave the example of the red light crossing. So, like in real life, practically, we cannot follow each and every law. So, what should be our approach when we are not able to do so?
Yes, so good question, because now we are coming to the practical aspect of it. That is where you need a guide. You need a guide, a teacher who will specifically, in your case, will tell you by harmonizing both the laws that have been given, and as well as in the current time frame, how to suitably adjust that, and so that we can follow it. So a teacher will actually guide. And as long as we follow a teacher, we will be protected.
Okay.
Is that making some sense?
Yeah, that does make some sense.
So initially when we start, we may not know all the laws and we may not be able to follow everything. But what happens as we continue to practice, we get the clear understanding of the purpose of the laws.
Okay.
And then we see how best it should be followed in line with those who have been following. So when we associate with those who are following and we take guidance from them, we learn how to do it. And it becomes very easy in due course, automatically.
But later on, it may not be always possible to follow. Like in whatever stage of life, it may not always be possible to follow all the laws of the nature, or like always live in harmony. with the nature?
No, what happens is, once we take to this path, we will learn the essence of it. We may not need to follow we don't need to follow each and everything, and that is also practically impossible. Everything cannot be followed, but we need to know what we need to follow, and that we will be able to follow. So that is where the teacher's role comes in. So because what happens is, the laws are given in Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures for different varieties of people. So many people are in different levels of consciousness. So not everybody is in the same boat. So the whole goal of our Vedic scriptures is to uplift our consciousness from where we are to a higher level. Okay, now from there to go up, now a person who is at this level may need to follow a different set of laws to go here. Now somebody who is at here may need to follow a different set of laws to go from here to here. So there may be some variation. So that's when we understand it properly, the purpose of the laws, and then what we are supposed to follow, it becomes very easy.
Thank you.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that is fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Fine. Any other question?
So, sir, I have one question. Like, you had a very nice job, and like we see in general, like people when they do something, they become very much attached to it, and they don't want. But you easily left that job to serve for a higher cause. So, like, how did the inspiration, or how did that detachment came, or like how were you able to do that? Because like only one person out of 1,000 is able to do that. 1% out of millions is able to like detach himself from what he's doing. So how were you able to do that? Like, I want to ask the inspiration behind that.
Well, if you continue to associate with the kind of group you have now, you will be able to find the right time. You will also be able to serve fully. It's not always necessary to give up one's job. You may continue, but if at some point you feel that that's the right time, that you can move on and fully dedicate, that's well and good. It comes naturally. The more we continue to associate and learn, the inspiration grows within, and one gets the right direction at right time. So most important thing is to stay in the association of those who are fully dedicated. So if you associate with those who are fully dedicated for a higher cause, one will feel inspired to do that way. But it should come naturally in due course. It's not something artificially.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So I think, is there any more questions from our participants here? So if there are no more questions, then yes, sir, very much thank you for this session here. We really like the session, and now we'll do the Kahoot quiz. So, sir, if you want to stay, you can also see and watch some of the questions, or if you want, you can leave also. Thank you, sir, for this session.
Yeah, so let me share the screen with you.
So meanwhile, just I'll tell the Kahoot rules if any one of you have not attended. So just like in the previous session also, we did the Kahoot quiz. So this is a Kahoot quiz. So in this, you need two devices. So on one Zoom screen, you watch the questions, and on mobile or some other device, you answer the questions. So the game pin is 3769018. You have to go on kahoot.it and put this game pin here. So I'll just mention that in the website, in the chat window. So this is the link. You have to go there and enter this game pin, and you use your original name. Don't use fancy names, and you will see your name coming on the screen. So Sagar has joined, Adarsh has joined, Anu. Okay. and Jayesh Bhavya Garg. So yeah, we have conducted many quizzes previously also. So many of you might be having the experience. I think Jaswal Bro, the voice is not coming. See if you had enabled the voice also, otherwise the game will not be that much fun. You during the screen sharing there is share option. You can
I
just
think
stop
I
sharing.
do not have, I haven't selected it.
No, the voice is coming. The voice is coming, but it was low, I guess.
I think my muting stops the shared sound. Now it is fine, right?
Yes. Now it is fine. Maybe you can just stop share and start again share so that the issue doesn't come. So yeah, we'll. Meanwhile, if anyone is having any doubt regarding how to connect, they can unmute and see. Yes. Now it is very fine. So till now only 16 participants have joined. We have 40 participants here. Also, we would request that our newcomers, they don't join this quiz, or old people, sorry, they don't join this quiz, since this quiz is for our new students who are here.
Okay, so there are around 12 questions in this quiz, and the timing here is only 30 seconds. So you have to be very fast in answering. But like there is still sufficient time that you can read all the options and do not make a do not be in a hurry and make a mistake, right?
So see, since it's already 8 o'clock, we'll not wait much. So please join early. We are just giving 30 more seconds for you to join. So because since it's already 8 o'clock. The quiz is short. It will only take 10 minutes. So
yeah,
don't
we'll
worry.
just finish soon. We'll finish very soon. So if many people have answered, I will just skip also. So try to answer as fast as possible because we are already like out of time.
And this quiz has been prepared by our volunteers. 5-6 people were continuously hearing the lecture, and meanwhile they were making questions also. So you should feel grateful that people are taking so much effort so that you learn very much. So during the lecture itself, they had made this entire quiz. So yeah, I think we can start.
Okay, nice.
Because otherwise we'll be late.
Yeah, so good luck to everyone. Just
you can join in the middle also. In case if you want to join, the game pin is same. Yeah.
Abhishek, please have a look at the chat in case something comes up. Okay, because I might not be able to.
Okay.
So we are starting. So good luck to everyone. Just like I hope that you learn something from this quiz also. Yeah, so the first question is, who is a learned person according to Bhagavad Gita? So 30 seconds, 4 options. Who sees Brahmana, dog, elephant, dog eater with equal vision? Who is very good in Sanskrit? Who is highly educated? And all of the above. So I think sir has mentioned a verse from this regarding this from Bhagavad Gita. And if you just remember, yeah, so 15 of you have given the correct answer, 5 of you have given all of the above. So you should like, I hope that you understand that Bhagavad Gita does not like learning Bhagavad Gita has nothing to do with knowledge of Sanskrit, right? So definitely that is not going to be an option. And this whole talk was about education, right? So material education is not going to help you with the final goal of life. So please, like I hope this point is clear now. Let's move to the next question. So we have Rachit, Jayesh, Alok, Shobhit, and Lavesh in top 5. The scoreboard will keep shuffling a lot because there are very few questions. So let's see. So the second question is, Bhagavad Gita is our life manual, provides us real knowledge, both option A and B, and none of the above. I hope most of you get this one right, because we have been like, everything we have is we are discussing from Bhagavad Gita only. Yeah. So, I'm sure the one who marked first option They just did it because they hurried and just marked the first correct thing. And they should read all the options, right? Otherwise, there is no reason for you to mark A and not B or B and not A. So let's move and see who is the top now. Okay, so Alok jumps to the top, and Rachit is out of the table for now. I'm sure that he will come back. So the third question is, which of the following question helps us to see that we are not this body? We are not this body. The question is, which questions help us to see that we are not this body? There's probably a small typing mistake here. How can I get more money? How can I get good marks? Who is the creator of the universe? And how can I live more comfortably? So which of these following questions help you to analyze that we are not this body? Think very carefully. finally we have like all correct. So no need of an explanation on this. So Alok and Aditya has a streak of 3 and he has jumped in. Someone has left. Let's see what happens next. So the next question is, who is watching us at all times? So we had a story like this, right? Sir was telling us a story about a student and teacher. I hope that you remember what was there in the story. This is nice. So all of you have become a little patient, I guess. So now everyone is marking correct answers only. Shobit, Harshit, Aditya. Alok is still on the top, but there is very little difference. Probably someone might just overtake him also. So Alok has to be very careful. Modern education versus real education. The modern education is about soul, while real education is about body. Modern education is about body, while real education is about soul. Modern education is about body, and real education is also about body. And both the education is about soul. I hope after this 1 hour talk on goal of education, some of you are still not clear. Okay. I hope I probably some of you read these statements wrong and got confused, because this thing, like, we should be very clear on that whatever modern education we are having right now, this is only pertaining to our body and senses, right? We like, it is focused on earning and living comfortably, but that is only the outer covering. The inner thing, the soul, it does not, like, the modern education does not cater to it, and that is why it is very important for us to take the knowledge and life. So let's see. I probably the score would be similar. Aditya has jumped on the top now. Still the scores are very close, so anyone can come on top at the end. So remember, there are 12 questions and 5 have, like, we have already completed 5. This is 6. Select the correct option related to technology. If we don't have character, then we will be slaves in hand of technology. Controlled mind will use it as a tool. Uncontrolled mind will make tool in hand of tech. Bad if goes to terrorists, otherwise good in hands of right person. So this was a multiple correct option, and still, like, at least there is one option on which not, at least 2 options are there on which not many people are clear. So first and second everyone has marked. Third is uncontrolled mind will make tool, will become tool in hands of tech, will become tools in hands of tech. So that is, like, we understand, right? We become slaves of our technology.
So
Like, some people, they cannot.
Just one more
Sorry?
announcement. In the multiple choice questions, there is multiple correct. So there is partial marking. So in 4, if you choose 2 and if 4 are correct, then you will get marks. But if you choose any incorrect option, there will be no marks. So there is partial marking. You should consider that. Yeah.
Okay. So actually, third one is we become slaves, and the fourth one is, obviously, if it is bad if some terrorist is going to use it, right?
Hare
So
Krishna,
that is correct about modern technology.
Yes,
Hello?
Alok wants to say something, I guess.
Actually, as soon as I clicked on one of the options, means the question automatically closed. Got closed.
No, that might be some network
I think
issue.
then all of you would be getting equal score. In that case, all of you would get equal score, so that question will not make a lot of change in the rankings. we'll check it, probably a technical glitch, but it should like, then this is like a no change question, right? Everyone gets almost same score. So let's move on. What is the learning from parrot and cage story? Yeah, so we had a very nice story, and there are 4 options here. Let's see. By maintaining body only, we can maintain soul. By maintaining body only, we cannot maintain soul. We cannot maintain soul, and none of the above. So there was this very nice analogy. I hope that at least you keep this as one takeaway from today's class. That and this is very nice. You can explain to others also. Yeah, so still some few people like probably they got confused with the options. So the cage is like the body, and the inside parrot, it is like the soul. So we can keep the cage very like clean and beautiful, but it will never attract the soul. The soul will always want to, the parrot will always want to go out, right? And keeping the cage nice and clean will not affect the health of the soul. It will still like suffer inside the cage. So let's see. Shobit is there, Aditya, Harshit, Bhavya, and Suryanshu has also come in. Nice. Still, like top 4 are around 6,000. So anything can happen still. Let's see. As a soul, we have to follow laws of government, laws of God, laws of society, and none of the above. So this one is a little simple question. And also remember that this quiz, like the importance of this quiz is that all of you learn something more, something extra, right? So whoever comes first, second, and third, like it is not that important as long as you are learning something from this. So this one is clear to everyone. So I'm very happy that this is clear to everyone. Otherwise, otherwise what, like it would be not, like we would be ashamed at what we are teaching. Nice. So oh, there is a tie actually. 7179. This is new. I haven't seen this before. So Aditya and Shobit both are on top, and Harshit is just close. Bhavya is also very close. Suryanshu is on 5th. Let's see who comes next. What is the first lesson from Bhagavad Gita? This one might be little tricky to read all the options. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We are not this body but soul. We are eternal servant of Krishna. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart as super soul. So this is talking about the first lesson from him. So this was also discussed in class today. So like all of these are obviously lessons in Bhagavad Gita, but there is something which comes first. And for a hint, this comes in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And some of you are correct. Some of you thought that though everything is correct here, but the first thing Lord Krishna talks about is that how we are not this body but the soul. Why? Because Arjun was grieving about the loss of his bodily relations. So this is the first thing which Lord Krishna clarifies. And after that, he mentions a lot of things, like what is our relationship with Krishna, what is our real nature, like we are part and parcel of Krishna, and our relationship as eternal servant, and that he is present everywhere with us. He is our best friend. Yeah, so let's move on. Let's see. Oh, Aditya has made this. Aditya and Shobit both have made this incorrect, so their scores does not change. And Harshit, Bhavya, and others, they have like toppled the scoreboard. Nice. Let's see. So there are 9 questions done. So last 3 questions. So still there is very like uncertain who is going to be in top 5. So let's see. What is the learning from the Gurukula and Ashram story? God is, as super soul, is always watching me. God is not everywhere. We cannot see God, so God doesn't exist. God is everywhere, but he doesn't watch us. So like you reading this question, I remember this famous statement by Einstein where he said that God does not play dice. So I hope that all of you remember this story, that what happened in this story, in this Gurukul and Gurukul Ashram story, where a teacher, nice, so everyone has marked this correctly. Everyone has marked this correctly, so we can move forward with this question. And everyone has done this correctly, so not much change in the scoreboard. So last two questions. Okay, so don't make a mistake in a hurry. Real education inspires us to become seeker of truth. become seeker of comfort, earn a huge amount of income, get a good placement. Please, I hope that most of you get this correct, because this is important. These are some of these questions are very basic, but you should have a correct understanding, right? Because that understanding will help you to realize the true essence of Bhagavad Gita, which sir is trying to impart. Nice. So everyone has done this correctly. So that is very nice. And there is no change in the scoreboard. Probably the last question can topple this, but Harshit has a lead of 300. So still there is a at least the top three. I'm not sure anyone can be there. Athato Brahma Jigyasa means I am God, inquire about truth, eat, sleep, and repeat, and everything is one. So let's see if we get this correct. This is also a point which many people get confused about. So it's nice that we get this here. Right. So only one person got this wrong, and he got it wrong terribly. Anyways, so the correct answer is that Athato Brahma Jigyasa means the inquiry about Brahman, that is, what is eternal, what is truth. So finally, let's see who is in the top three. So the 12 out of 12. Okay, so if the third one has got 12 out of 12, then others should have also. Bhavya is third. I think this is Harikeshwar. Nice. So we have this top three for today. So those of you have, and Shobit comes in the top five. Nice. So those of you who could not make it to the top five, we'll be having this opportunity every day from now. So every day you have this option to compete with your friends and win some glory for yourself.
Yeah, so what we are thinking to do is we'll take these scores and compile all those Kahoot quizzes score together, and in the end of the bootcamp we'll give some very mega prize to all the winning participants. So you have to continuously perform good. So don't be sad if you didn't score a very high rank. Many quizzes are awaiting, so all those Kahoot quizzes in the bootcamp will result in a massive prize. So, and also do share your feedback for the today's session in the WhatsApp group. You can also share the Kahoot quiz experience, so it will also motivate us, since this was the first time that we made it live during the session itself. So maybe there might be some technical issues, but still you share your feedback, we'll see. And also for tomorrow's session, we have in the evening, for the first session is in the morning from 6 to 7 p.m. on the same Zoom link, where Abhishek Jaiswal will take mantra meditation, and we'll study the spiritual book. And for the afternoon, we'll have Python Day 2 by Ujjwal Khandilwal. And also remember to complete the assignments that have been given to you regarding the same. And in the evening we have how to manage time effectively. So when you come to IIT, you will see so many sorts of things going on, this club, that thing. So in the end, it just comes all about how to manage time effectively. So we have Dr. Pawan Goyal, sir. He'll talk about this. So because he was also expert in doing time management, so he had a very good CPI and he was part of all the club activities. So it's not that much easy. It is like an art, and you have to learn it by some experienced person. So, and it will help you lifelong. So the art of managing time, this session will be given by Pawan Goel sir in the evening. So yeah, you can show just once the full report. They might be abusing me that I have come in between.
So we will also share this report with you later on, but right now we can just have a quick glance at how many questions everyone got right. I'm sure that many people got right a lot of questions. So tomorrow we are going to make a little more difficult quiz. So it will be a little more taxing for you all. But this is also a good revision, right? Like I while looking at all the questions, I was able to revise a lot of things which we learned in the class today. So I hope you all can see Harshit and the top three got all the 12 answers correct. So this was just a matter of timing who marked it more, who marked it faster. Then Bhavya got 92% correct. Then so many people got I think almost top 10, at least the top 10 have 92% correct. So I think probably they got it one wrong or maybe two wrong. That would amount to 92%. So that is very nice that most of you got so many correct answers. That means that you made good
Yeah, it means that participants are very clever and they are listening very carefully and very properly. So it's a good indication.
Okay, so we'll keep it till here for now, because we are already out of time. So tomorrow we can we can tomorrow, tomorrow we will have a session. Please come for this session, and
Do
we'll
give your feedback in the WhatsApp group about today's session and today's class.
Please.
Yeah, so thank you, Jaiswal. We would also thank Abhishek Jaiswal. So he was the person who in the last organized all questions in the form of a quiz and he conducted. So thanks to him also, and thanks to all the participants for